Hi, good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to today's Expert Speak session hosted by Naukri Campus. We are delighted to have students all across India to join us for the conversation that is extremely relevant today, the employability in the era of AI. Artificial intelligence is rapidly transforming how companies hire, how the work gets done, and the skills that truly matters in the workplace. For students who are preparing for placements and early careers, understanding these shifts can really make a big difference. Today's session aims to give you a practical insight into how you can stay relevant, adaptable, and future ready in an AI driven world of work. It is my pleasure to introduce our speaker for today, Govindraj MK, the Chief Human Resource Officer at Myntra. Welcome, Govind. Govind brings over 25 years of leadership experience in human resources, having worked across industries and global markets. At Myntra, he leads the company's people charter, aligning talent strategy with business growth in an increasingly AI driven workplace. He is passionate about building people first, inclusive, and high performance cultures with a strong focus on future ready skills and leadership development. Prior to Myntra, he has served as the Vice President HR at Flipkart, where he led HR strategy for technology, product, and supply chain teams. Govind is also an alumnus of the Madras School of Social Work, University of Madras. Govind, it's a pleasure to have you today with us. Over to you.
Thank you and good evening, everyone. It is really a pleasure to be part of this session and being able to address and interact with you, hopefully, at the later part of the session. And thank you for investing your time in this, and thanks to Naukri for also setting up a session like this. Um, so today, I just want to take a brief chat around how things have been evolving over the last maybe 100 plus years, but even more rapidly in the last 30, 40 years. What started off as industrial revolution, which happened maybe close now to 100 years back, then the whole the knowledge revolution which happened, and along with that, with internet came up, telecom came up, and the whole industry had a major shift in the last 30, 35 years. And what we are now facing, all of us together, is the intelligence revolution, where AI has now leapfrogged and moved forward and evolved into generative AI, agentic AI, and sitting with us as not just as assistants, but also as even co-workers in future. And as of each, I think most of you are students, and at this time, uh, we have all seen changes in our career, but at the speed and scale at which it is happening right now, it is quite unprecedented. And as students who are going to enter into the workforce in next year, this year, or in a few years' time, I'm sure you may be having multiple questions, and some of them are fundamental about how your future is going to pan out. The degrees you're doing today, are they still relevant? Is that a question you have in mind? Will the entry level roles exist? And if it exists, what shape and form will it be? That's another potential question you may be thinking about. And fast is this AI evolving? Like, if you have been looking at the news on how almost every month or every 2 weeks there is a new version or a new edition which comes in, and it then disrupts the market about what those features can deliver. I mean, they've just been launched, but what it can deliver with that promise, a lot of things are happening, how the market and the industry is reacting. And will then AI do the task which people are doing, some of them are doing much faster and also in a more economical way? If these are the questions you are grappling with, these are all very valid questions, and it's the right questions for you to really think about. But is that the real question? Is that the real question, whether AI will change my work? Is it going to change the world? That that I believe is not the real question, because it has already done that and it will continue to do that. The real question which each one of you have to think about is, in this changing and fast changing world, how do I, as an upcoming talent, uh, getting into the workforce, adapt and position myself in that change? That's the real question which you should ask, because the change is happening and it is inevitable. It's how you are able to go through this process and manage it and come out on top. Does that make sense? I would have loved this to be a more in-person interactive session so I could have seen you and spoken to you. But given this is virtual, I hope this question does resonate with you, how it is going to, what you need to do. Um, I hope all of you are already using your AI tools and you have used AI in one form or the other for personal reasons as well as for your studies. And you can yourself see from the time when you were in school to now in college how you have started using tech and especially the Gen AI features very, very differently. Knowledge has been widely accessible for quite some time with search and internet. Access to knowledge has always been there for the last at least 15, 20 years quite efficiently. But now, from just access to the knowledge, what you're doing with the AI tools is, how am I going to utilize this? How am I going to build plans with this? How am I going to use this to create my presentation? Sometimes people use it for homework, sometimes people use it for their project work. But there is a lot more that AI brings in apart from bringing you the information. It processes it, it provides insights, it provides, in fact, inferences, and also guides you how things can be built. Uh, and at work in Myntra, we do use it. And many of you may be customers, and I hope you're customers of Myntra. And you would have also have experienced uh, behind the scenes and also partially through AI with the human judgment in it. But majority of the heavy lifting of mundane tasks can be done by AI tools. So what is clearly the job of a human in the loop is moving up. It's elevating from people who are doing the tasks to people who are able to define and create decisions out of the data which is coming through. How are they able to influence the decisions and drive the change? And most importantly, at the core is, what is the kind of problems statement are we taking as an organization, and you as a person working in that organization? What is the kind of problem statement you're taking, and how are you looking to solve them? So some of these aspects about uh, what skill should I learn question. Every time I learn a new tool, there's some other new tool which has come. So it will continue to evolve. So we'll have to be constantly learning and adapting to it. And but the most important thing is to keep our mind focused on what are we trying to solve. If someone asks you what skill should I learn or what is your role, the way you should be able to answer that question is, these are the problem statements which I'm working on along with my team, and as part of that, we are solving it using multiple tools, but also knowing the context. So in terms of whichever role you are as a fresh graduate comes to a company, the thing is not about which tool I should learn. The thing is, are you able to understand in which business that role is operating? What is the kind of problems which that organization is trying to solve or the role is tasked to solve? And then who am I going to work along with to make that solution happen? And for that, what are the tools which I will have to build and use? And these tools for the are also rapidly evolving, so you have to constantly play with these tools to come out with the answers. The other aspect on the second question, so that's one thing. So the whole thing is about what, how will the roles be? The roles will be based on what problems are you going to solve and how will you solve it. That's where the role will be defined. What happens to the degree which you're working on and what you're studying for 4 years and you've been studying from along with school, like 16 years of study? Is it relevant? My answer is, the knowledge which you gain in that may lose its relevance over a period of time, because it cannot be up to date. Over a period of time, you'll have to constantly keep upgrading on the knowledge which you have to get. But one of the most important aspects of our institution is that institutions, our educational institutions, is that it helps you to learn how to learn. Let me explain what is help you to learn how to learn is. Today, all of the information is available, always been available for us some time. If you do a search, you will get information. And with AI now, it will also process it and it will make a PPT for you. It will make a draft for you. It can do a lot more of it. But in this process, you're only learning to ask a question, but you're not actually doing the work. But truly, what you have to learn in an institution is going out there every semester or every year when you're learning a new subject, then you're applying yourself, spending that hours in discipline of sitting and learning something you've never learned before, and you are putting the time and effort to understand it. That particular skill gives you patience, builds a curiosity. You have to be curious enough to understand that, and then it also gives you the ability to go in depth, and you are actually searching for the answers and you are discovering the answers. So learning to learn is an important skill in today and in future. It always was, but it will become even more important, because that discipline is what will actually differentiate you in the future with others who are completely dependent on, say, an AI tool to do everything. So let me take an example. If there are two people who are using, say, the same set of AI tools to build a project, and the person who is completely reliant on AI tools to build it may come out with a fancy looking deck, but they will not have the depth of understanding in that area. And there is the other person who understands the subject, they learn more about the subject, they use the AI tool to get the output in a certain format and shape, but they will be knowing not only the surface level what you see, but they will have ability to go drill down deeper and understand why, what, and how, and what is it solving for, why did we make that project work. The In the long run, the person who has got that context and who's investing their time in learning to learn, it will be the one who is able to go forward in multiple scenarios, and they will be autonomous to the AI tools. They will use the tool as a co-worker, they will use the tool as their assistant, but they will not be entirely dependent on that AI tool. And anybody who's only going to be relying for everything on the AI tool, they will not be able to adapt and they will not be able to move forward. So this is something which each one of you has to learn. So are your degrees relevant? The process of attaining your degree, the process of your learning is very, very relevant, and you need to be at it. And this skill will be always useful for you on in your way forward. So your degrees still are relevant in the way the time you're spending in the universities are fully important, because it gives you a life skill of learning to learn. Then the aspect of adaptability is super important. You need to anchor your identity on adaptability. We are looking at early career talent. The important aspect is learning agility, and this is about the knowledge aspect to it, right? You have to learn things fast, and when things rapidly change, you need to unlearn them and relearn a new aspect to it. So you have to absorb new information, question assumptions, unlearn approaches which may have succeeded in the past but now not as relevant, and relearn better ones with changing things. And this will happen at a much more rapid pace than it used to be. And if you think this what I'm saying is only relevant for freshers, it's not true. It is relevant for me, who's got 26 years of experience, anyone who's at a workforce, anyone in general, building a business, working, studying, it's relevant for everyone. It has nothing to do with which generation you are. If you want to be successful, if you want to create impact, you need to be adaptable. You need to be open to learning, unlearning, and relearning. Um, so one danger which I already gave that example of, do not outsource your thinking to AI. Human intelligence, human judgment, human creativity, human empathy, human understanding of the context, and critical thinking. And ultimately, at the core of it, curiosity to learn. All of this is important for you to make that constant adaptability aspect in your career and in your life in general. If you are going to outsource your cognitive processes to entirely to AI, it is it will harm you. What you need to do it is that you need to keep your thinking, and you can use the AI as a partner and develop further it, and it should help you to strengthen your own thought processes. If you ask, and prompt engineering is an art by itself, and asking better questions is also an art by itself. And to ask the right questions, you need to be curious. As children, people have always said, no, children ask the toughest questions, but in fact, they ask the most curious questions. They just ask, how does the sun operate? Why is the moon round? They ask the simplest of observations and they ask the question, very curious question. But if you actually have to answer them in simple words, you need to have in-depth knowledge to explain it. Superficially, you cannot give an answer. So that curiosity has to be there, and you will be able to ask better questions. And when you ask better questions to yourself, your critical thinking improves, and you're asking the better question will also drive better outcomes from your AI tool. And why is empathy important? Is empathy a very soft skill and good to have, or is it a must have? Many of you may have done the design course in your design thinking and design courses. And the first starting point of design thinking is empathy. You need to understand who are you solving the problem for and why you're solving that problem. So putting yourself in the shoes of that user or the beneficiary is very important. And you need to have that empathy for you to get into problem solving, getting into framing the problem, then getting into the solution and using the most appropriate tool, prototyping it, and then going large scale. And this also cannot be done all digitally. You will need to speak to the user directly. You need to speak to not just one user but a good sample of users to do that. On how you want to, I mean, only then you will build the true understanding of the problem statement, and empathy gets built. Then your solutions will be much more stronger, and then you use the right tool to do this. That's when you truly understand why. The third, I would say, aspect is around creativity. Today, you know that AI can create its own movies. It can do art. It can create music. There are influencers who are AI influencers. Truly, it is struck at the heart of many things which we thought were creative. But it is not. While while AI can do all of that, you as a human being still has the ability to combine ideas from different places, use the empathy which you have built, use your judgment, and then come out with even more creative and wonderful things which was earlier possible not possible at that period of time because the tools were not there. Now, AI can generate much more options for you, and as a human being you can decide it. So now, how do you think with all of this part which I spoke about, right? Your education is still important. What you learn in your education, just to quickly summarize in between in mid is your education is important. Your education, the time spent in you spend in your school and you spending in your college, helps you to learn, provides the discipline for you to sit and spend time, go deep into a subject, understand that subject in depth, and then ability to then use the appropriate tool. You need to be very adaptable about things, constantly unlearn, relearn, unlearn, and relearn. And that will drive your whole aspect of how will you adapt to this fast changing world. The last part of it is build a strong empathy and context, and that will help you to come out with the most creative solutions, and why and what kind of problem you are solving for can be addressed much better, as long as you use the AI tool as your co-worker or a tool or an assistant, and not outsource your thinking to them. And when you're looking for a new job with all of this in mind, the first job is the beginning of your journey, and it is a much longer journey. And when I'm saying first job, I'm talking about a formal job, but also with this rapid change, it's also opening up options for you to become an entrepreneur. You can start your own, you can execute your ideas faster with the level of AI which is coming into play. You are able to build and get your ideas executed with that, or also you can join into a formal job. But the question should not be what is my title, what will be my salary. Money is important, but more than that, your question should be, what will I learn in this new organization? Who is going to invest time in me as an organization, whether it's individuals or the level of learning which I can get from this place, and understanding and guiding me, to help me understand and guide me. And will I be also stretched in my role, where it is not about long working hours, it's about stretching your thinking, stretching in your potential to be tapped by, because you didn't know actually you are able to do this, but this place the place where you join is able to stretch your imagination, stretch your thinking, and build your horizons further. So, what you learn, who and how will you be coached, and will it really stretch me in the sense that my horizons go much more wider and I become much more stronger professional. And it is no more linear ladders where somebody joins at level one, two, three, four, and they go up linearly. One has to become more well rounded. So, moving around different functions, getting more holistic experience gives greater breadth of exposure, and that will make you a more wholesome and holistic leader and a professional. And with that learning, you will be building your confidence, and you will also have lesser anxiety about the future because you have the built inbuilt confidence that I can learn, I can adapt, and I've got this holistic thought process around me. So I'll be able to get the context very well and I can problem solve better. The truth is, AI is accelerating very fast. It will take many of the mundane tasks, repetitive tasks. Roles will transform and it will get elevated. Human traits will remain always timeless. Curiosity, ownership, adaptability, empathy are all going to be the core at which will drive your future. Critical thinking, do not outsource your thinking. That's also very, very important. And learning to learn. So do not compete with AI, make AI your ally. For that, you need to continue to learn, invest a lot of time in learning, and then compete on your judgment, compete on how you are continuously upgrading yourself, and you're always one step ahead of all of what is happening around you with the context and empathy you have. If you do all of these things, you will be better equipped to face the world as it is changing, and you will also come out on top because these are timeless and it will anchor your career forward and also your personal life forward in a very, very strong manner. So I'll stop here. It's been, as I said, without not being able to see all of you, it is a little bit of talking one way. I'll be happy to listen to your questions, like to hear from you, your thoughts.
We've got some questions, Govind,
Already.
in the
Okay.
room. I'll
Wow.
take few of them.
Hmm.
So one of the question is, how can a non-engineer student can take up an AI job?
Okay. Um, it's a great question. Whoever asked, it is good thinking the way you have asked this question. What has AI done? Gen AI, especially agentic AI and Gen AI has done is it is actually in a way democratized the aspect, and one doesn't need to know coding. What one needs to truly understand is the points which I said earlier. Understand the context. What is the problem I'm trying to solve? Why am I solving it? And you will be able to then work on it. So your thinking is at the core. Your critical thinking is at the core. Uh, and when you say AI job, I presume it is not about creating an AI. It is about using the AI tool to drive a solution. That is far more possible. To do an AI job also, it is about your curiosity because the tools are becoming so evolved. I'm presume many of you would have heard about vibe coding, and it's also in human language. You can actually tell the code, and it actually does the coding. So it is about, I think this is the best time for even non-engineers to get into problem solving using tech. So I think this is the way it is going forward. And one more thing, so educational institutions you will see, or in education, spoke about we need more well-rounded people. So people who have varied interest and who are able to connect the dots is very important. So it's not just knowing only engineering or not knowing only commerce or knowing only biology. It's about how do I connect the dots around these subjects, and interdisciplinary becomes even more important. And it is not just about tech or non-tech. Knowing AI and AI tool is making it a easier, and the entry barrier has come down, so everybody can actually get into it to solve the problem. So I hope that gives you clarity, but you have to apply your mind a lot. You have the human intelligence has to come into fore a lot more now.
Great, valid response, Govind. There's another question in the room which says, what are the top three skills Myntra prioritizes for freshers and how can students build them practically?
Okay, so when we are interviewing for any level, right, what we actually look at is the underlying thinking of the person. So did they identify the problem statement well? So if you're a student and you will be doing projects in your, or you would have done your internship. So those are very, very important aspects of your, which will help your future. Because the degree is fine because your everybody studies the same in terms of knowledge being imparted, but your project is unique, your internship part is unique. In that, how have you contributed? So we will look at what is the kind of problem statements you have been involved in solving, and how did you think about it with guidance, but how did you think about it, what was your contribution in it, and what did you learn from it. These are the aspects which we will actually be looking at in our interview. So ultimately the underlying trait is that, did you understand the problem statement well? How well have you understood the business context? What is the kind of solution thinking have you built around it? So your critical thinking and your ability to also use your intelligence for in an applied manner, not in a theoretical manner. That will also come through the core. And the last bit is, how are you able to articulate what you learned? And it's always not about a success story. It's also about things could have failed. When I say fail, means it would have not worked out in the way you envisaged or the project was envisaged. But what did you learn from it? And then what are you going to iterate in the next? That's what we will look for when we do in the interviews and speak to our candidates. And this is not only true for freshers, it's true for everyone. In your context, it'll be not the real work experience, it'll be in your project and your internship period, what you have done.
Thanks, Govind. We have another question, which is probably going to be a repeat to what you said, but I think it has come up twice, so I'll take that.
Okay.
What advice would you give to students who feel uncertain about their career direction? You did cover this part, but since it's come up again, and I think a lot of the young generation do feel anxious about their jobs, their next level of roles, and I think we should take this.
I agree, and it is a valid concern, and you're thinking about it is important. Only first request is, do not freeze because of it, and do not get over anxious about it, because then it is going to only limit you. Uh, think about it. What, as I shared earlier, the good news is the core element of the core human elements are absolutely even more relevant right now. The aspect of curiosity, the aspect of problem solving, the aspect of how you are resilient about things, and how you building empathy and business context or context around things, they are very important. So any role which you are looking at, it is the way you have to present yourself is, first of all, identify which are the themes which is like you will be keen on. Is it e-commerce, or is it fintech, or is it manufacturing, or is it bioscience? It can be different areas for each one of you. Think about it, like what are the major things which are happening there. Apply your mind in understanding it more deeply. And so when you have those opportunities of interviews or tests, and you are getting through a common conversation, the differentiator for you versus others will be the ones who are able to talk about what they've understood about the industry, what they've understood about the problem statements that industry is facing. And if you have done any particular kind of work or a project, or even your own study and written white paper around it, sharing that, because what people are looking at is what employers will be looking at is the ability of the person to think and apply it. As long as you're able to do that, you have to invest in that. And again, I'll repeat that which I said earlier: please do not outsource your thinking to AI tools. uh, all the answers cannot come from AI tools. You have to prompt the right questions. For that, you need to have context around it. If you are able to do that, you will be able to, whichever area you choose, whichever field you want to build your career, you will stand out. But that's an investment which you have to make to be truly, deeply understanding about the area you want to excel in and build your career.
Valid point, Govind. There's another interesting question which has come up, and I think it is the sense of the room. Can AI replace engineers?
Um, can AI replace engineers? Can AI replace tasks? multiple tasks of not just engineers, uh, any of the roles which people are doing. Uh, uh, it is not just AI. In the past, if you remember, if you think about all the existing tools which you are using even today, I mean, we have been using tech for a long time, it has taken away a lot of tasks. But it has also created, because of that, it has also created more and more options and possibilities. So while it may replace many tasks of different roles, and some roles may not, if the entire role is only doing certain kind of repetitive tasks, there is possibility of some of those roles also getting replaced. But what it is going to do is also it's going to create a lot of new roles. It'll create a lot of new roles where one has to apply your mind differently. And this has always happened. This has always happened from the time we have seen, especially the knowledge revolution with technology coming through. So there is no straightforward answer to saying will it replace an engineer? It'll replace multiple things which an engineer does. It'll replace multiple things many other people, many other roles are doing. But it'll also add more to what an engineer is supposed to do. It will redefine what an engineer's roles and responsibilities are. And also, I'd like to bring to your attention something called as the Jevons paradox. Um, it's the name of a person who's come up with this concept where the more a thing gets used, and we have seen this, earlier computers were not this prevalent 25 years back. Now, even a child has a laptop, and we are using computing power everywhere in our phones, right? The usage at that time also, people had worried about job losses when computers first came. Where there's some job losses, some of the roles get replaced. But can you think about the number of new jobs? You all know that number of new jobs it has created is tremendous, but it is a very different scale. Similarly, with AI, as it progresses, the more it becomes accessible and available for more people, there is more possibilities which will open up, and it will then add a lot more new roles which will come into play. And those roles will require a lot more people to apply their skills differently. But then, yes, roles will happen. So while some tasks will go away, there'll be more new roles coming. Are you ready? How am I going to be ready? Is the question which you need to ask.
Great response, Govind. Definitely resonate to it a lot. There's another thing which has come up, which is very core to Myntra.
Okay.
It is when building an AI startup product, what matters more initially, the model accuracy or the user experience? Interesting question.
Yeah. I think you have to be very clear about, first of all, what is the problem you're trying to solve for the user. If it's a customer, then yes. So we start with customer at the core, saying that is this what the customer can do? And there are two types of needs. Huh? There are needs for the customer, which the customer is saying that I need this. So it is a stated requirement by the customer. But there is also unsaid needs or unknown to the customer also. Oh, that's a great value proposition. I will love it if you guys give it. Is the other part of it. So the solutions, there has to be a clear why. What are you solving for the customer, and why are you solving for it? When you have that, what are the two components you asked?
Whether it's going to be the product or the customer experience.
Oh, yeah, right. So they are not disjointed. You cannot have a. I mean, the solution has to be great, and the ease at which a customer is able to experience that solution also has to be great. So I mean, and all of you are also customers, and customers is always uh, the end users. Customers are tough, and they also expect the best, and that's how they push more and more innovation, right? So you need to have great customer experience, but you should solve the problem more deeply. So your focus should be first to solve the problem very deeply in a seamless manner, and how you deliver with the customer to the customer, that customer experience should be also very smooth with least friction in it. I think maybe you can sequence it, but you cannot say which is more important than the other. Both have to be delivered for the customer to get the great outcome.
Got it. There's a question regarding HR and AI.
Okay.
Like the classic thing, the two things in the house. What is HR? What is AI? How's AI changed, or what role does AI play in the HR team at Myntra?
So AI is impacting every team in a way how we can use it and are using it. There have been several use cases how it is used in the people function, right from hiring. Tech actually has helped us to democratize hiring. Access to talent has become a lot more easier because we have platforms which are able to do the screening at large scale. We are able to get talent right from any corner of the world, and in our case, corner of India. It is not just only based on the few campuses we go, but we are able to go to any talent who's a graduate and who can apply to our system. The tool helps, right? The screening tool helps. It's not even with AI. Without AI, some of these tools have been helping us a lot. So that transition has happened. Now it is getting even more of using AI tools to process it. It can do the first level round of interview. So don't be surprised. Many of you in your future will be your first round of interview is actually done by an AI avatar, and it will also be very sharp in proctoring so that it doesn't people cannot misuse that time when they are doing it. And then mapping of skills, getting the right match. There are very many tools. I'm not even talking about a future scenario. I'm talking about what it's happening right now in the way we are. I'm taking only one specific function of TA, and every function. So in TA, right from screening to the interview process, to matching of skill sets, skill profiles, summarization of an interview, looking at the strengths and development areas of a candidate. On all these aspects, AI has entered, and it's been very, very helpful to both the candidates as well as for the employer or the company to look at it. Similarly, it helps in learning, it helps in talent, it helps in compensation, every single aspect of the people function. It has been impacting and positively and helping us to go for larger scale, look at for things which we were not able to do it earlier because it was very manual, and is only going to get more and more integrated to everything which we do. And this is only an example of HR. It is true in finance, it is true in engineering, it is true in marketing, it is true in the business world, like categories and even private labels. Any function, AI is coming in, and people are using it, and it is only enhancing the way we are operating.
Thank you, Govind. It definitely resonates. I have one very, very interesting question. It says, is AI development creating ethical problems? It's a very different viewpoint from responsible use of AI.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we at Myntra do use responsibly. Would love to hear your views, Govind.
Like, okay, science has always been a double-edged sword. Everything which has happened in science so far has been used to raise the quality of life of humanity, and it also has been used other way. We know many of these instances happening, right? AI is also a similar tool. It depends on how human beings apply it, trying to solve what kind of problems. So, and ethics is required in everything which is doing. So, AI ethicist is actually a role which is of the present and the future, who define the algorithm or the what are the boundaries and the guidelines for the AI itself. Like when you develop an AI tool, what are the boundaries which it has to play with? Then it is about the users, like when human beings use it, what are the ethical boundaries they should be using it. So it becomes very important, and but it is not just true for AI. All I'm saying is throughout history of humankind, science has been that. Nuclear energy provides a lot of. It's been an alternate source of energy. But you also know the impact when it is used the other way around. It happened in World War II. So AI is also something like that, and and the world is very conscious about it, and there is a lot of guidelines, parameters beginning to be made around how AI should be used, how AI should work, AI tool as itself, and also as a user. And so there is also a career for people there in becoming AI ethics, people who build those AI ethics guidelines and are able to also govern it. And this role never existed before.
Yeah, this will never exist. Good. Perhaps we'll take a few more last questions.
Okay.
One question which has come up: what is the one piece of advice you will give to all generations, not just the one who's coming into workforce now, or the ones who are already in the workforce?
Yeah, I think it's not just an advice to others. It's also self advice. I would say what one need to do. I like to just like I don't know. I don't know how many are cricket fans on the house there. You can raise your hand if you can. And recently, our Indian women's team won the World Cup. It was fantastic, and now the Indian men's team also won T20 World Cup, uh, and we retained the trophy. And it has been a fantastic series from few perspectives. I think the whole team came together. There were no individual stars throughout. There were like some outstanding performances, but in each match, one of the players raised their hand and made it mattered and helped the team win. And one match we did lose very badly when the entire team failed. But other matches, one person was the big hero, and then there were a couple of others who helped, and we finally went through. But from the quarterfinals onwards, I mean, almost like the quarterfinals, the match with West Indies, and then the semifinals and the finals, one thing was dramatically evident was the entire team started operating together. A lot more people came together and started working to do this. And these are all individually brilliant people, but they all had to come together to make something like it looked the victory on all the three matches. Uh, we always knew that we will win it from the position there. Some of it was very close. Finals was a little bit one-sided. But having said that, the team was so really strong. So one thing which will continue is working along with each other. How much ever talented you are, whatever tools you have, ability to work with each other and build on each other's strengths and coming together at the right time and really amplify the impact will continue to stay. So please remember, human relationships will matter even more as we become more and more tech savvy, AI savvy, and who will do all of those tasks. Second is, in that matches also you have seen whichever generation people showed a lot of resilience. Where to take names of two players. Sanju Samson was not even in the playing 11, came in, and then he made a big difference. It's history, like how he showed up for the team and how he helped us win. Another interesting person is Abhishek Sharma, who is the number one T20 batsman. Scored three, started the series with the tournament with three zeros, three ducks, and then his performance after that was also very very patchy. Come final, he hit the fastest 50 in the tournament by any player. And he's a Gen Z. I mean, he's like the youngest, one of the younger players in the team. Sanju, I would say, if I were to even put a demography around it, a millennial. And of course, then there are the senior players. And each one of them had at the core hard work, self belief, very resilient. Despite whatever was happening around them, they were able to focus and come out on top in one of the most high pressure situation in a high pressure stadium with billions of fans like ourselves who always want our team to do well, and they know that pressure and they came out well. So irrespective of what is happening, and why I'm using this example is, with AI happening, there is so much unknown, there is so much of pressure, there is anxiety. You need to believe in yourself. You need to really dig deep into your own skills and able to keep your curiosity high and work really hard so that you are able to come out strong and stronger despite a few setbacks which may happen. And it's also not only about the individual, the entire team comes into play for you to achieve greater things. And so that aspect of human relationship is also very important. The more the tech comes in, the more there is the social network and other aspects which is digital. At the core is the real human relationship, ability to work with each other, ability to uplift each other, and also be resilient oneself to drive the right result. So, and hard work, there is never smart work, I would say now, hard and smart. Spend the hours, but also be smart around it. There is never a substitute for that. And look at the life of any champion today, in the past, and in the future. They will all say one thing: there is no substitute for working hard, putting in the hours, getting into the depth, and believing in oneself. You will come through successfully at the end of it.
Thank you, Govind. I have one last question,
Oh my,
Govind, to
okay.
you. Reflecting on your career, 25 years of journey across multiple organizations, multiple era of IT, what advice will you give to a younger Govind, say probably 20 years back?
On what? Advice on what?
Advice on what could have been done better, or what you would like to do if you knew this trajectory will come in.
I okay. I think I always focused on the human element a lot earlier. So I think that is good. So I would say, what are the things which works? So to the younger self, I said, okay, you had invested in yourself in building the right kind of frame of relationship. You are resilient whenever setbacks happen, and you came back. So all of those things are still relevant 20 years hence, and will be relevant 20 years from now or in future. What I would suggest that I should have done more to my younger self is that invest in your own learning. The biggest investment you can make is not just on any latest stock market or gold. I think the far stronger investment is invest in your learning. Put yourself into different experiences, and learning is not just about doing a training program. That's one aspect to it. Listen to senior people, learn from their experiences. You don't have to go through every experience and make all the mistakes to learn from it. You can learn from other folks experiences. So invest time in interacting more with people who have achieved, people who have gone through tough times and overcome it. So I would have said, while I did spend some time, I could have done that more, and invest in a lot on self learning on the job, as well as by reading or by applying. I would say I should have done that more, and I would have that's my advice to my younger self, and that's my advice to my current self also, that I need to invest a lot more into my learning, as adaptability is the key to not just success, but to thrive through this chaotic environment which we are living, and which is going to become even more rapidly changing. So that's the advice. So there is good part of it which I've done, but there is also this: invest in your learning constantly. Never relax around that part.
Thank you, Govind. Thank you so much for your reflection, your candid conversations.
Thank you.
I did get a lot of questions on how can you apply at Myntra.
Oh,
That was a constant question.
yes.
So I'll take
You're
that.
welcome. Please do follow us in LinkedIn,
Yes,
and
yes.
Naukri, and every other part which you can find us, and even Instagram. You can know understand how is the life and culture of the company as part of it. Talk to people who work in Myntra, um, and we do believe in the fact that talent exists everywhere. We need to access them, so become accessible to us. And the more the one who differentiates in the interview process with us, in the internship process with us, they have a higher opportunity to become part of Myntra, and building and delivering this joy which Myntra brings to our customers even more.
Thank you, Govind. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. I hope I was able to cover all the questions as in the room. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Govind, for that insightful perspective. Especially, like, I am sure many students found that the session was extremely valuable. We were getting constant questions, and I really appreciate your thoughts around, like, do not compete with AI, but make it AI your ally.
Yes.
Sure. And to continue this, students, the person Niket who was taking the question, he is the head of talent acquisition and campus hiring at Myntra, and he works closely on identifying and hiring talent across the organization. So his perspective on what companies look for in early career professionals will be extremely valuable for the audience as well. Something, Niket, you would like to add up?
So thank you, Arnab. Most of these points were already covered by Govind. We look for a lot of innovation, problem solving, and definitely how advanced you are in the world of technology is what helps us to hire the best talent. That's what we look for.
Okay, thank you, Niket. And students, as we come to the end of this session, I'd like to thank both Govind and Niket for taking the time to share such valuable insights with our students today. And I'm sure everybody who was attending this session has a much cleaner perspective on how to think about career, the skills, and the adaptability in an AI driven world. Also, a big thank you to the Myntra team for partnering with us to bring this insightful conversation to the students all across India. And thank you, students, for joining us today. Have a wonderful evening, everyone.
Thank you, Naukri Campus, for hosting us. Have a good day.
You too. Thanks, guys.